Megan is Missing was released in 2011 and was written, directed, edited, and co-produced by Michael Goy. The film stars Amber Perkins and Rachel Quinn. The film revolves around the days leading up to the disappearance of Megan Stewart, a popular high school student in North Hollywood who decided to meet up with the boy she was interacting with online, and the subsequent investigation launched by her best friend Amy Herman. Back when this film was released around 2011, I had heard a bit of buzz about the last 20 minutes of this film being really crazy. I watched it and didn't really find anything particularly crazy about the ending, but then again, I've also seen a lot of disturbing horror films. As of recording this video in November of 2020, the film has re-emerged because of TikTok, and I figured why not give it a rewatch. This second watch was painful to get through. And not because it's a disturbing film, it's really not, it's actually just pretty cheap. And the film mostly feels like a parody because of the amateurish acting, the awful writing and dialogue that sounds like it was written by a robot or an alien who has no idea how humans interact with one another. And apparently this film was written in 10 days and shot in a week, and it shows. I never really feel any sense of dread. Yeah, when Megan goes missing, it's like, okay, something's actually happening. But I feel like I need to get into spoilers to be able to talk about the things that I don't like about this film. So I mentioned earlier that the dialogue is awful. There's a specific scene that happens when Megan is trying to convince her popular friends to let Amy tag along at a rave that they're going to. And the way that the boy talks to Megan, it's not how teenagers talk.
She's not a fucking loser like the rest of you.
Yeah, well, I got a reputation to think about. I run the best parties, and you are my premier party girl. You bringing Amy along could take away that crown.
And what makes it worse is this pseudo found footage thing that Michael Goy is doing. The shots aren't set up the way that a webcam would naturally sit on a monitor, and the same thing goes for the cell phone footage. It's way too crisp, and this film was supposed to be taking place in 2007. Also, it's really weird when one of the girls is just literally staring at their webcam, waiting for the other person to pop up. Like, who does that? There's also a scene where Megan goes into excruciating detail about an encounter that she had when she was 10 with a 17-year-old camp counselor. And that's honestly one of the scenes that actually shocked me, was the amount of detail and focus that was put on this by Michael Goy. And then there's the laughable news clips, as well as a dramatization of Megan's kidnapping.
You're trespassing. Come with me.
This is when I started to question whether or not this film was a parody. But then the ending came along and kicked me right in the dick. So basically the last 20 to 22 minutes, the friend of Megan gets kidnapped, she's stripped down to her underwear and locked up in a room, and then ultimately is assaulted by the man who not only kidnapped her, but also Megan. Then after this last assault, he says, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and take you home, but I need to go and put you in this barrel because I don't want you to see where I live. He opens the barrel and there's Megan, dead. Amy's forced into the barrel, and the final moments of the film depict the man digging a large ditch, while Amy pleads desperately with him from within the barrel. He then pushes the barrel into the ditch with Amy screaming and begins to cover the barrel inside of the ditch. And the final shots of the film are of Megan and Amy hanging out in one of their bedrooms. So I won't lie, the last 20 to 22 minutes definitely made me uncomfortable. And the assault scene, which goes on for a while, was difficult to watch. The shot of Megan inside of the barrel, although brief, is effective. We have this super dark downer ending that could kinda save some of this film, but then all of that is dashed because a scene of Megan and Amy during happier times is put at the end to really hit the emotional chords. The thing is, the acting was so flat and so was the dialogue that I honestly didn't feel attached to these characters. And it's not that I don't care if this were to happen to someone, but in the context of a film, it's done incredibly poorly. No connection has been built between the audience and the characters. So when Michael Goy tries to end on this emotional note, it falls flat. So with all that said, Megan is Missing gets a skip it. I think this may actually be the worst horror movie I've ever seen. If you'd like to see 10 found footage films that I recommend, there's a card up above that you can go and check out, and I've also left a link down in the description below. And while you're at it, be sure to leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you'd like to support the channel even more, get your name in the opening credits, and even requesting movies for me to review on my channel, become a Patreon today. Link is down in the description below. Thank you so much for coming by, and I'll see you guys on the next video.
She loved me! And I loved her back! I loved her so much! And now she's gone because of you!
You serious?